I'm really scared my phone's gonna fall. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite little mix girl back with another video, and today I'm going to be explaining why I moved back home for the year, or for the next 2 years. Kind of why I left Santa Barbara, the whole story with that. I know a lot of people have been asking, so I decided to do this video so that I could explain everything for you guys. So yeah, it's like a long story, but it's also not a long story. I'm gonna go into basically all the details in this video, so make sure that you guys like, you comment, and you subscribe, and you also hit that bell button so you can see when I post next. And yeah, also on this channel I'm gonna do kind of like my community college experience for any of you guys looking into that option, or anyone who's just curious. So yeah, stay tuned for that coming on this channel. I was supposed to do Vlogmas, but see, the way I'm set up, you know, I mean, unless I started now, it could be like a day 3 type thing and just go from there and pretend like day 1 and 2 never happened. But we'll see. I literally don't think I would be able to post every day just because I would probably forget. But I'm gonna try to do as many videos for you guys, especially once Christmas becomes closer, because I am back home with my family, so it's gonna be really exciting. And who knows, maybe we could have a little video with them. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe. Hit that bell button so you can see when I post new videos. And without further ado, let's just get into Let me do it again. Sorry. And without further ado, let's just get into another day in the life of Blake. Alright guys, so number 1, as I've mentioned before on this channel, college is very difficult to anyone who's going to college. It's a really hard thing just because the transition from high school to college is something that you can never really learn about. It's something you have to experience. For me, it was the craziest experience, in the best and the worst way. I got into UC Santa Barbara, was super excited. I'm a first-gen student. For anyone who doesn't know what a first-gen student is, it's basically you're the first in your family to go to college, to go to a university, or a 4-year institution. So it's a big deal. I felt like there was so much pressure, and there still is a lot of pressure for me to do well. And I just wanted to be that example, because everyone kind of looked at me as the person who's gonna, you know, go to college and set kind of the tone for like my younger cousins and like my little sister. So it definitely was a lot of pressure. Even if, you know, my family didn't say anything, I could still feel it. So to me, I was thinking, you know, you have to go to a UC, like this is everything you worked for. I did a lot in high school, you know, like being president and like getting the grades and like trying to do as many extracurriculars as possible to get into college. And so going to a UC was honestly like my mindset, because I thought like I worked so hard, like why would I go anywhere else? So UC Santa Barbara, it's a beautiful school. Honestly, just for me, number 1, like academically, the quarter system is super fast, and I kind of need a more slow pace type of environment, just because you do only have 10 weeks, and so those 10 weeks can go by so fast. You can literally learn a chapter and be quizzed on it like the next week, or like within the next few days. And so it was really hard for me to grasp concepts and then be tested on them super fast. Another thing is that it's a huge school. It's like 25,000 kids who go there. So the fact is, like, you probably are in classrooms from like 200 to like 800 people, and so you don't really get that one-on-one time with your professors as you would want to. And so for me, that was really difficult. I tried going to like some office hours, but because there's so many students and office hours usually last like 2 hours, sometimes you might not be able to get your questions answered, and so it would already be too late, and you're kind of just stuck and you really have to fend for yourself. I personally felt like going to a UC, and like I would think because you're paying all this money that you would have like the best like professors, the best education, but in reality it's all self-taught. You basically are teaching yourself for the most part, and I was really confused with that concept, just because I was like, how am I supposed to teach myself something that I don't even know, you know? And so I was holding them responsible and like trying to hold them accountable for that. But at the same time, like I realized college, like it goes both ways. Like we are adults, they expect you to know yourself and know how you learn. And so it was just like a learning experience overall. And Another thing that I experienced that I don't think a lot of people talk about enough, in any college or any system at all, is like the fact of racism. Racism is very much alive still in the world. It's something that's never going to go away, sadly. And so I personally like have never experienced racism, especially to the level that I experienced at UC Santa Barbara. It was something that was so new to me, and something so foreign, because I literally live in one of the most diverse cities in the world. And so to go from having all that diversity and having kind of all of that culture around me, to going to a place that is predominantly white and with a lot of people who don't kind of understand the importance of diversity and inclusion, and yeah, just kind of like being in a different environment like that was really tough for me. We would go out and it would just be so hard for me, just because I knew like I knew I was different, you know what I'm saying? Like going, you know, when you're from a diverse place, basically, it's kind of hard to feel different because everyone around you is different. So different is technically the normal. And then you go to a place where everyone's pretty much white and they're just looking at you and like, you know, pointing at you, or like feeling like they're saying something about you so different. And so it was hard for me to even grasp the concept of it, just because I am the type of person to not really look at people's, you know, skin color, and like I don't care about that. But I had to realize like a lot of people actually do, and it's still actually like a really huge problem in the world. And so it was something that mentally messed me up. I started having a lot of anxiety. I didn't really know how to handle everyone always looking at me when I walked into a room. I didn't know how to handle people probably talking about me, or like, you know, wondering what is she doing here, you know, like it was a lot. And it was an experience. I remember like going to my dorm and like crying and like wanting to go home so bad, just because I didn't know how to deal with it. And at the same time, I didn't want to talk to like my friends or like my family about it, just because I didn't want to, you know, scare them or like make it seem like I wasn't happy, even though I was. I like don't like to put my negative emotions onto people a lot, so I kind of just like bottled it in and kept it in. But in like reality, it just made everything worse and kind of just made me more like closed off, and like I didn't really feel like myself. There were like times like where I would stay in my dorm and literally just not want to go out by myself. Like I couldn't even go eat by myself. I didn't want to do anything by myself because I could not handle people like looking at me everywhere I went or talking about me. And I think the worst thing was like not being able to say anything back, just because I knew if I said something back, it would just cause this whole dramatic thing. And yeah, it was just super difficult. I really questioned, you know, why I was there, kind of what was my purpose, and like everything just kind of felt wrong. The only thing that really kept me there was like my friends, you know, they would always have my back, always checking on me. And so they were the one thing that was like keeping me grounded through that. I tried to like focus on the positives and really just like try it for a year, like everyone says, you know. My family would be like, oh, if you just try it for a year and you still want to transfer after that, it's fine. But I realized like it was impacting me so negatively that like I had to get out. Like I had to gas brake dip out of there. But personally, like this is just my experience. Like I'm not trying to trash UC Santa Barbara at all. You know, people have the most amazing time there. Like it really just depends on who you are as a person. But from what I've experienced and kind of like what I went through those past 3 months, it wasn't where I needed to be ultimately to like reach my goal of not only like getting a degree and like furthering myself like as a career wise thing, but also like making sure that I'm happy, making sure that I'm putting myself first, as far as like mental health, as far as like emotionally being stable, and like just being happy overall. That's the most important thing wherever I went. So my advice to you guys, especially if you're, you know, applying to college, thinking about college, just make sure that you do a lot of research and make sure that you have as much information on where you're going as possible, because you really, you know, you never know until you go there. But it's also really important to be like fully like knowledgeable on where you are and kind of your surroundings. And yeah, so right now I just withdrew from the university, and so I'm going to be attending community college starting next semester technically. So I'm going to be going to community college. My major is still communication, so I'm going to be doing that and doing journalism. And like I met with like the counselor today. Everyone there was super nice, and they really like want to help. And so I think going to community was a smart decision for me, just because I needed to step back and really understand what I want in life, where I want to be in life, and also where I want to go to college, because I'm debating where to go now. I know for a fact, like after going to UCSB, it really changed my mindset of like where I want to end up, and kind of made me realize like I really don't know where I want to go. And so that's like perfectly okay to feel that way. I just like I'm so used to like planning out my life, and to like not know where I'm supposed to end up now is kind of like new to me. So I'm still trying to figure it out, but I still have like 2 years to even worry about that. So I'm kind of just like trying to focus on bettering myself, making sure that I'm happy again, making sure that I feel like myself again, and then jumping into like the whole career aspect. So I want to be a broadcast journalist. So I've been trying to look into schools that are good for that. Most of them are on the East Coast, so I've been looking there, because by the time I leave, I'll be like 20 years old, so I'll already be like old enough to like want to leave. And so I think that's what's really cool about the community college system, is like I get to stay home for 2 years and kind of like enjoy my teenage years before I like venture off into the world and become an adult. I think a lot of the times people don't want to go to community college because after you graduate high school, people have like this conception of like you have to be an adult, you have to leave, or else you're not going to be grown up. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think we all go through different stages and where we have to decide when it's best for us to leave. And so being able to come back here and like just regroup, it was really essential for me, and I think it's going to be ultimately a good thing. Community college is one of those things where like for the longest time I thought about so negatively, just because I saw it as like for people who didn't try in high school, or like or just going just to say they're in college. And so I thought about it in such a negative way. But after coming back and like seeing the college and seeing all these hardworking people in there, like community college is honestly like the best route. It's smarter financially. You save so much money, and you're getting the same education for like for such a lower price. And one thing I like is that the classes are so small that you can have like that one-on-one help that you need if that's important to you. I know that's something I'm going to be looking forward to a lot, because I like to establish a relationship with my teachers so that they at least know who I am, and like be able to go to their office hours or whatever and like kind of ask them the questions that I have, because knowing me, I'm going to have a lot of questions. So I think that's super important, and it's just going to kind of get me ready for college, because in a way I was ready for college in some ways, but in reality, like, I just needed to kind of grow as a person and realize what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And yeah, I'm kind of at the stage where I'm trying to figure out where I want to transfer. I've been looking at colleges, like I said. I really don't know where the hell I'm going to end up. Definitely a more diverse place for sure. And yeah, that's kind of like the whole background of it. Basically, I just wanted to do a video because a lot of people have been asking me. I'm trying to get my life together. We're out here, but I'm only 18. I'm still young. I have hopefully my whole life ahead of me, God willing. So I'm just kind of like chilling right now. I'm trying to just knock out these GE requirements and see like what's the next best step for me. A lot of people have been asking me what made me want to do journalism. I was always one of those kids who was just so into asking questions. I kind of want to know the full story. I want all the details. Anytime someone tells me a story, I want to know every detail, from like what color shirt you were wearing to like what was the weather when you were outside. I've always been interested in knowing the full story and getting a full story from people. And writing is just something that's always been a habit. It's always came natural to me. I have like this journal that I've been like writing in ever since high school. And I kind of just love to document it. Like I would catch myself just writing about just anything whenever I was bored. And so it was something that I've always gravitated towards, but I'd never envisioned, having a career out of it. Broadcasting and journalism in general is something that a lot of people don't like to talk about because it doesn't make a ton of money. And so, especially living in a world where money is everything, a lot of people don't really like to talk about it. But I've always been the type of person to say, like, money isn't everything to me. Of course it's important, like, you need it to live, but I've never been the person to, like, stress over it. And so I went on, like, this ongoing debate with myself, because I wanted to do journalism, but I knew, like, being an RN or, like, being in the medical field made so much money. And so I was, like, having this conflict of, like, either do I go for the job that I know I'm going to be financially stable and, like, you know, but I might not be as happy if I was, like, a writer. And so ultimately I just had to, like, realize, like, I need to be happy and do something that's going to make me happy. So being a writer is obviously that, and if it doesn't pay me, like, $200,000 every year, like, that's fine. Like, you know, you make it work, you figure it out, that's life. So I'm just really excited to be a writer. It's something I've always wanted to do secretly, but I just never knew it, you know. I was, like, 6 years old, like, watching the news with my dad and, like, fascinated by all these people. Like, we used to watch KTVU all the time, and so it would be, like, Julie Hanger, Frank Somerville, Dave Clark, like, all of them. And I used to just be like, dang, like, I would love to do that. And so now that I have the chance to actually do that, something incredible, hopefully I'm coming to your screens soon in the future. Yeah, so that's just kind of the whole story with that. My advice is just to say, you know, the plan that you have most of the time won't be, you know, executed. You have to go through a lot of changes. I've learned that. My mom literally has, like, pep talks with me every day, because I am super, like, hard on myself, and so she just tries to tell me not to be as hard on myself, even though, like, you know, that's not even possible. So yeah, it's just something I had to learn, something I'm going to learn, and something that you guys will see on this channel. This is gonna be a journey for all of us, but I'm so happy that I get to document it for you guys. And yeah, so about Vlogmas, I will see if I could do it. Honestly, this could be day number 1, but technically it's 3, so whatever. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe, and I will be back with more videos coming soon.